Hey everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Daily D. Today's topic is the word or the action of being consistent. So consistent means the act or done in the same way over time. Acting or done in the same way over time. Especially so as to be fair and accurate. So let's talk about that. That's Webster's, by the way. Let's talk about consistent. So if you think about any major business that has been very successful, the reason that they've been successful is because they've been able to deliver a consistent outcome or product from their service. So for an example, the outcome of a let's say a legal service or a tax service or an insurance service is always consistently the same. The outcome of a restaurant would be the food is always consistently the same. When a business becomes very consistent, they typically succeed. Now, you could be consistent in a negative way, meaning you can consistently give poor service. But I mean consistent in a way that the consumer, the buyer, the person who hands over the money consistently really sees that every time they show up, they get the same, whatever the outcome is. Now, I use the word consistent as it relates to business, but let's just talk about individuals. You see, I believe that most of us have the opportunity to be consistent in our lives. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, most of us are being judged or graded, if you will, on a daily basis by the people around us. And we get graded either in our families or circle of friends, Facebook communities or Instagram, whatever, social media. All of us are being graded, if you will, for the consistent actions that we take. What that means is how often we do something frequently, and the consistency of those actions, right, done over time, will determine how people see us or view us. And I think that is really the killer of most people's success, is their lack of inconsistency, or the lack of consistency, right? They're being inconsistent. For an example, I see people who go from job to job and they post about it. I'm here this week and I'm there next week and I sell this. I sell cars, then I sell cell phones, and then I sell insurance, and then I sell, burgers. You see, that inconsistency makes you not be a credible person in somebody's eyes, so that when it comes to the point when somebody comes say, hey, when you go to somebody and say, hey, would you buy this from me? They say, what do you actually know about this product? You've sold all these other things. You've done all these other things. What do you actually know? You see, people are looking for people they can depend on, and that's consistent. They want somebody they can depend on saying, hey, that person's been doing this for quite some time, so I know that they are somebody I can trust, I can believe in, I can look to. That's why I tell most of our agents in our business, hey, you got to constantly be in people's face about insurance and be the expert. How do you become the expert? You post about it, you talk about it. You can't just randomly one day say, hey, you want to buy some insurance, and the next day is, I hate my baby mama. You see how that works? By the way, it doesn't have to even be about business. You can't say you love somebody and hate somebody in the same week, right? And that happens on Facebook or social media. You can't say that you enjoy something and hate something at the same time. You have to be consistent about your message. You can't say, one of the things I see quite often is somebody gets on Facebook and says, I love my workouts. I'm so committed to eating better and doing all these great things, and I'm the best. And then the 2 weeks from there, they're like, man, I just ate this pizza all by myself. Or, oh my gosh, I don't know, I'm not going to work out anymore. You got to be consistent. And the consistency, what people see when they see somebody who's consistent is they see it's somebody they can believe and depend on. Stop changing your message. Stop being random with your thoughts. Be consistent with your thoughts. If you believe in something, continue to believe in it and push the belief. If you believe in an action or something that you believe is great, then consistently push it. You can't say, I'm not a smoker, and the next time I see you, you're smoking a cigarette. You can't do that. That's an inconsistent action. It makes me not believe that you're a credible person. Makes me believe you are not a credible person. And because of that belief system, I will never do business with you. You see, it isn't something you consistently are, or that you have to be consistent for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, 1 year. You're going to have to do this for the rest of your life. If you really want to get somewhere, you have to be consistent about something. Now, some people are consistent about bad habits, and some are consistent about good habits, and some people are consistent about good products, and some are consistent about bad products. But if you really understand things, it doesn't really matter if you're good or bad. As long as you're consistent, I know who you are. I can identify with you. I can identify you, and I can say, hey, that person is this person. See, I know those people. You know those people from high school that are consistently, bad people. They're always into drugs, and they're always consistently into trouble. You know who they are, and then when they change, you're like, no way, they didn't change. Why? Because their consistent actions have said to you that they are not a trustworthy person. That doesn't mean people can't change. That doesn't mean things can't change. It just means that your judgment of them is going to take some time to be changed. And the only way you do that is, or they can do that to change your opinion of them, is through consistent action. When somebody finds God, if you will, right? When somebody tells me they find God, but they've been in drugs and alcohol and abuse and prison and all those things for many years, but all of a sudden they find God, nobody believes them. I mean, I'm just being honest with you, you know that. So what happens? They have to consistently show to church. They have to consistently push the message. They have to consistently do this. And not 1 month, not 2 months, not 3 months, but 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. So that people will believe, okay, yeah, they're not just faking it. This isn't some fad. This is actually something they believe in. And because they believe in it, I believe in them. See that? You can't go from, selling milkshakes to selling taxes and insurance one day. That doesn't work that way. You have to be consistent with your message. And every time that you post, you share, you do something that's inconsistent with what people want or you are pushing on people to believe, it just diminishes your credibility, and then you can't get it back. Nobody wants to trust the guy who, one day is actually washing cars and the next day he's trying to do his taxes. Do your taxes. We don't do that. Or at least most educated people don't do that. You see how that is? You have to be a consistent person in everything that you do so people can say, hey, I trust them. Last one is a good example. If I see somebody who's in very good shape, in physical shape, I know they have consistently shown up to the gym. And because of that consistency, I can ask them, hey man, tell me, or hey, if it's a woman, right? Hey, tell me how you get this particular muscle isolated, or how do you stay so fit? And so they could teach me something, and I can believe in them because I can see the consistent action. I can see it physically. You see how that is? You can see that from somebody's wealth. If you see somebody who has money today, they have consistently done something right, and you should ask them for advice. See that? And consistent money, not just one time. So some people can get lucky and make a little money, but I'm telling you, when you meet somebody who's been wealthy, who has money for years and years and years and years, there's something they've been consistent about. Maybe it's consistently saving. Maybe it's a consistent investment activity. Maybe it's a consistent business activity, right? You see how those things work. So I share all this with you in the hopes that you stop or start being consistent in something that makes sense to what the message you want to be. You see, you can create and craft who you want to be. If you want to be known for insurance, you want to be known for taxes, you want to be known for cell phones, you want to be known for cars, you want to be known for wealth or money or fame, whatever it is, you've got to be consistent with that message so that people eventually have no other option but to believe that you're a credible, reliable, and dependable person because you've consistently pushed that message so many times that nobody can discredit you. See that? I hope this helps you. I wish you nothing but health, wealth, and success, but most importantly, freedom. Thanks, guys.